Hi, good afternoon. My name is Angela. This is a recording of a lesson for using my PowerPoint presentations. I do wear glasses, but they seem to be reflecting. But once I've put the screen up, you should be able to see. Okay. All right, so this is my PowerPoint, how I use PowerPoint in my lessons. Now, first of all, we did start, obviously, in your normal lessons, we use the whiteboard, or we use a blackboard and so on. But with COVID, what happened was we all suddenly had to learn how to do online lessons. Now, I developed and slowly learned myself how to use PowerPoint in an online lesson. And it became so effective with the students during the online lessons that once we came back to school and we were back in class, I found that these lessons, this PowerPoint, actually had a lot of merit. First of all, the students are more interactive with it. They would come up to the whiteboard and follow the prompts and so on, and play the games that I managed to source and develop myself, and so on. So I'm going to carry on. Obviously, there's no students in this lesson, but there is another video with some students that I did teach in Saudi Arabia. I was there for two and a half years, but I'm home now. And I would like to share all the information that I gained while I was there, because it was a huge amount, especially when it comes to technology in the classroom. And you can use this type of technology from 000 all the way to, I taught grade 10 and 11 in Saudi at one point as well, and I used the same type of PowerPoint. So I'm going to run through some of the things that we did. Okay, so this is my virtual classroom. Now, they wanted virtual classrooms. So what I did was I designed this PowerPoint classroom where the students can come up to the board and they can click on anything, any of these little icons or pictures, and it'll take you to what's needed in that lesson. For example, what I found a huge amount of value in is to have warm-up games. The warm-up games would allow them, obviously, to settle their brains, to get their brains working on fire. But it sets a precedent in my classroom where the students were just so eager. It's pretty, it's colorful, but they're learning at the same time, and they had a good attitude towards this type of lesson. And that's the value that I found. And I cannot see myself teaching without something like this, because it is honestly just valuable. Okay, so if I have to show you some of the games that I found and I've developed, for example, we would play Spot the Difference, and I would put this up, and the students would need to look for the differences. I would then show them the differences. During the online lessons, they would type in the chat box, or during the in class, they would write it on their whiteboards or on a piece of paper. So that was the Spot the Difference. We also had Spaceman, which is very much like Hangman. And, let me go back. And as they got words incorrect, you would build the spaceship, and the alien would go in and it would fly away. So the whole idea with this was to be able to get the Hangman words correct. I then started with a splat game. Now, the splat game, what they had to do was they would be ready with their whiteboards or the chat box, and this was related to the vocabulary and the words used in the story during the week. So behind each of the Marios is a picture that, as I went through the spelling words, I would explain using a picture. Click on it, it would fall down, and they need to type in the chat box or write on their whiteboards what the picture is. Okay, so this was the subject geography, and this was arithmetic. And there were quite a few that I would do. As you can see, I'm not going to explain all the pictures, but they loved this game. They absolutely adored this game, found it very exciting. Then we had a quack, quack, quack game that I developed, and they would choose a duck. Once they'd chosen, there's a spelling word. They needed to use it in a sentence, the word elaborate in a sentence, or alternatively, they needed to explain to me. So this game was had two different ways of doing it. Okay, then we had I spin the wheel. They would spin, 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 tell me when to stop, or they would come up to the whiteboard, and the word is aggressive. They needed to tell me what the word means, or alternatively use it in a sentence. Cupcake quiz. In the bar at the bottom is a secret word, and they would choose, behind all the cupcakes were clues to the word at the bottom. So I would click on it as they called out, chose a cupcake. So they would read the clues to me. And the word at the bottom, or the phrase at the bottom, would be related to the story. So you can see this was a human teacher. And then we had the Pinocchio, find the lie. There they would read the 3 facts and try to decide which one was a lie. So the first one was true. The second one was the false one. That was the lie. So that was the game that we played with that. Let me just go back to my classroom. There we go. So that was those were some of the games. Oh, and then we also played a picture reveal game where they had to look and try and see as they gathered, opened the squares, they would be able to decide what the picture was. And then obviously there was the answer. The word was schoolyard. So those were some of the games that we played. You can change these. I used to change the picture of the duck to flowers or something, and they would get so excited because they honestly thought that it was a whole brand new game. So that was one of the games. Then we would definitely start off the week with our spelling. You can see there's a spelling and the definitions. And then with the stories, like I said, I would use the pictures to explain the words so that it would be easier for them to relate to the words and understand the words. So I always had pictures for them, and then I would use these in the game. Okay, let's skip through past the pictures. Then, the videos. I love using videos. You can use, I used to say, let's go to the movies and pretend, and we'd have popcorn and obviously play popcorn and all of those things. But we would go to the movies, and then I would use videos for the story, anything linked to the story to spark interest. And I would also use videos for grammar, anything like that, where it could assist my teaching. We used a video. So I take the pictures out of the textbook and all the stories out of the textbook, and we would read. Okay, obviously when we were in class, they could read from their textbooks and so on, but I would always have something on the screen in case somebody had forgotten their textbook. Then once a week, I would give them a creative writing where they had to write 5 sentences, either about something related to the story, or I would give them a topic, or they could use their spelling words. To look at the grammar, we would go through the grammar, action and linking words, verbs, and obviously as we go through it, I would be teaching them again, having another video. Then what I decided, and I found very useful, was that I came up with little quizzes where we could use the technology to reinforce the grammar points that they'd learned. Huge hit. They loved it. So with this, I called it the unicorn quiz, or the sleeping unicorn quiz. So in the chat box, they would have to answer the questions. Now, this was with linking and action verbs. So there's the verb. They needed to tell me if it was an action verb or a linking word. Online, we'd write it in the chat box, and in class, we would use the whiteboards. They would just write A or B, and then they would come up and use the smartboard, touch the smartboard, and the answer would be revealed. So that was I use these little quizzes a lot for a lot of different, even for spelling, reinforcement of vocabulary, all those kind of things. I'm now going to go straight to the beginning of, let me just escape. I just want to bring it up so that, there we go, so that you can have a better idea of what's in the PowerPoints. So if you have a look at the top of the, we start off, we play the game. We have, I put the objectives so that the students would be able to know what I need them to focus on, what skills they're going to learn, to give them a better idea. It's really very sensible for them and helps them to make sense of the lesson. Their homework, I would do a slide on what the homework for each day, and then each day all of this information, whatever I taught, I would upload to what we called the Classero. Classero was a school program, a computer program. It was online, and all the information that I needed them to download, them to study, them to work with, I would upload to the school's program, computer program. And like I say, they were able to work at their own pace at home, but by the end of the week all of their work needed to be done. And then the next day we would obviously check homework, make sure. Let me show you where we have some written homework. There we were doing the comprehension on the screen, and it's easier for them to check it all. So here we go. Yeah, let's check our homework. They needed to complete the question number 5 of the comprehension, and this is the close to. This is what this answer needed to be similar to. There was some more of their homework. So this is how I would, and it really seems to it. The only thing that I really missed overseas in Saudi was that there wasn't sufficient time for the students to have a set workbook. So every week there was a new story that we worked from in their textbooks, but as reading a story that follows on through the semester or this term, I found invaluable, but there just wasn't enough time, so we couldn't use it. What else have I got in here? We used to do a lot of critical thinking, discussions. They used to work in groups and discuss things in groups and then report back. I'm trying to see, there's another quiz that I developed. This was about comparative and superlative degrees. Same kind of idea, where the student gets the question or has to fill in the blank. They pick it, click on this, on the sun, and it will fall away. Invaluable, these games. And then once a week we would have our spelling quiz, and then online on that Classero website they would do a quiz every week just to reinforce, to wrap up for the week on what they'd learned for the week. Okay, so that's how I use a PowerPoint in my lessons. Once COVID had finished, it was so interactive being able to use this that I never stopped. It is more prep, but it's just, like I say, value for the students. They're getting a better opportunity of learning, and it was very well received, and they learned because of these interactive elements that I have in the games. So yes, please be sure to look at my other videos, my introductory video, and enjoy. Thank you so much.